Hello everybody and welcome to Whiz, your family-friendly podcast where we discuss D&D, Onslaught, Dice Masters, HeroClix, and the other entertaining games made by WizKids. I'm WizDad, and I'm those models your local weather forecasters use to determine how much snow you'll get. Sometimes I underestimate things, but most of the time I overestimate things. I will be your guide for navigating the competitive and casual scenes of the WizKids Triforce of gaming. It's Mashup Monday. Today will be a quick episode as we cover the significant changes out on the Wizkids Solicits. We'll cover that in the progress report. And then I'll talk briefly about what teams I'm working on in Onslaught and what 300-point Modern and 400-point Silver Age teams I'm building for HeroClix. Without further ado, let's head into the WizKids progress report.
Kowalski, progress report.
Alright, so I hope everyone out there is staying nice and warm on this very cold, for most of the United States, cold Mashup Monday. So as I mentioned before, we've got some pretty significant changes when it comes to the solicits. First off, in January, Kong is just gone. He is no longer listed on the solicits for January. If I look into iconics for just the whole year, Kong is just gone? No, Kong is listed now for March 6th. We have a set date now. Colossal Kong is set for March 6th, so it has been pushed to March, which feels like it's going to be a pretty significant month. We do have also February 7th for Harley Quinn Roses for Red. That's the February Iconics, but also Sherlock Holmes is a week later, February 14th. So we do have our next three Iconics set release dates. That's a big thing. When you go look at these, when you go look at any releases on the solicits, it will easily say like a month, and that's like a ballpark. You don't know if it's truly coming then until it has an actual date. Okay? When it has like January, like for example, Cry for Blood Monthly OP Kit had the set date of January 10th. So we knew that it actually is releasing. Those are the only three things besides the Cry for Blood. Those three Iconics are the only ones we know have a set date now. That means someone has identified that they have the product or something. That's my assumption. That they have the product, and now they feel comfortable putting a set date. As far as January goes, though, that is kind of it. We have, obviously, I've mentioned before, the Pathfinder minis, the Icons of the Realms, Phandelver and Below, the Shattered Obelisk, Journeys to the Radiant Citadel, Critical Role, the Darrington Brigade box set has a date on there, and actually everything for January has a set date now. But let's talk about HeroClix for a second. Major change. February now only has DC Hero Gotham Villains Monthly OP Kit that's listed for February, but no set date, and the two Iconics that I mentioned. Next phase is no longer listed for February. That means next phase is now moved to March. March, there's no way this is going to be how it ends up. But as of right now, March currently lists Marvel Studios' next phase, the Pizza Party with She-Hulk, the Retail Chase Boosters, the Pizza Party with Hawkeye, the Iconics Peacemaker on the Wings of Eagly. I assume that'll get moved as well. The next phase Play at Home kits, but it also lists Deadpool Weapon X, which was the original date for that. I assume Deadpool will be pushed, and will be pushed to hopefully April, maybe even May. This would explain why we haven't gotten any videos yet, like no Porter previews or anything like that. For a set that was supposed to come out in February, it's now coming out in March. We've seen this before. It's not incredibly shocking. Is it disappointing? Sure. We're going kind of long since our last set. Remember, our last set was back in October with Wheels of Vengeance. So we're getting a sizable break now until then. And that also puts into question whether next phase will be legal for Adepticon. If it isn't, which is now a strong possibility, because Adepticon, remember, is closer to the end of March. I believe it's like in the 20s, 24th or something of March. If that's the case, then what we have now is what we're going to have for Modern. So hopefully we get some more concrete information to know about the viability or the legality of next phase. And once again, there's no way they released 2 sets in the same month. Currently, there's no DC set. Like, we have the DC Time Traveler set that we were teased about, but that isn't out on solicits yet. So easily that could be moved. Like, that could land in a more July time frame, and then they have Deadpool Weapon X set for like a May, April, even maybe June time. So they have the flexibility to spread things out a little bit. I would not stick by Deadpool coming out in March. I just wouldn't. But it does look like they've shored up their January solicits, which also means that we don't have Onslaught. Still, we don't have the Cell Swords, like the Cell Swords expansion, and there's no Onslaught listed at all on the solicits. And I know that is most likely a mess up a little bit, not really intentional. They just probably aren't used to putting them out there, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they still have Star Trek Attack Wing in March, so I don't know if March is just supposed to be a big month for some reason, but we will see. It's a little disappointing. Definitely means nothing for the Champion Eclipse event as far as pre-release goes. Means we probably aren't looking at pre-releases until mid-February, end of February, which we're in the middle of January now, so that's not crazy, right? That's not insane. Outside of that, we did also get an announcement today from The Rock. As I mentioned last week, we have Silver Age has been updated to at least show the new ban list, to show that it's now 400 points. Well, now they announced today. I'll read a little bit about it. Today, this is Realms Open Championship, or The Rock. Today, we would like to share the first of several announcements that will occur over the next 2 weeks. First up, to let you know that the Rock Cup will be attended by Scott Porter, and we will once again be raising money for the Huntington's Disease Foundation of America in its fight to cure the disease and help those affected by the disease. So, the Rock Cup / HeroClix for Huntington's event is still happening at the Rock in May. They list here that it is going to be now 4 days. They're adding additional day. So that means the cup will be from Thursday through Sunday, but there will be the welcome event will be Wednesday night as opposed to Thursday night. So Thursday is now a full day of events as opposed to just kind of an evening event. The Rock Cup Silver Age Championship is May 1st through May 5th. So once again, as stated by Howard Brock multiple times, it is always going to be the beginning of May. It's just that one didn't work out because of Mother's Day. And then finally, what we learned is, well, I mean, this isn't a surprise, but the 2024 Silver Age World Championship will be once again at the Rock Cup. So that's really going to wrap it up for the progress report. Let's talk a little bit about it in the fishing segment. I'm going to go over what I'm working on, and that'll kind of cascade into what the future episodes are going to be. And yeah, I'll see you in the Fishing with WizDad segment.
Get your gear, little man. We're going fishing. And I mean now.
So let's kick things off with Dice Masters. Now, I had originally planned on playing in the BWX F7, BWX Fest 7, I should say, which is this Saturday, January 20th. It is online. It starts at 17:30 GMT. First round starts at 1800 GMT. I had originally planned on playing in it, but unfortunately my schedule kind of got away from me for Saturday, so I'm not able to participate, which stinks. I really wanted to. But I will cover the results as best as I can from it. If you are interested in playing it, remember, it's all online. The pricing has been updated by Collector Rob, who has reached out to me, and I think he's going to be on an episode maybe after, unfortunately, after BWX Fest, but we'll talk a little bit about Dice Masters and kind of go over some more of the must-have lists, because there are a couple sets I haven't covered yet. So Collector Rob will be on once I can work out our schedules. But for a prizing update for this Saturday, if you're on the fence about joining, there is effectively a new playmat, XL Dice Masters playmat, that is going to be the first place prize, I believe. It's based off of how many people have entered, and so now there's a couple of playmats, a promo bundle, some custom design cards by Stu.art, the Pulse TBP. I don't know what that means. Unfortunate. Oh, I see. There's a few of them. They're different cards. It looks like a great event. I'm sorry, once again, I can't join. I hate it. I really wanted to participate. But unfortunately, I don't have the time this weekend. Stuff with my kids going on. But once again, it is January 20th. Definitely check it out. The Discord for Dice Masters Online. Sign up for it. It looks like it's going to be a fun event. Definitely check it out. Next, let's talk a little bit about Onslaught. So, I am, once again, not playing. Well, I might try to play in the Onslaught tournament. Scheduling wise, because it's the same time as HeroClix, I won't be able to. But for the sake of all of you aspiring Onslaught players, I am going to pretend that I'm playing, or at least act like I'm playing, building towards and practicing as if I'm playing, so that way we can do it together. I'm hoping to do maybe some live streams or some videos down the road, at which point we will talk about different teams, different formats, formats as in like tournament scenarios. But right now, if you were to say, hey, WizDad, what are you playing at Adepticon? Like, what team would you play? The problem is I am torn between trying to go all in sellswords, because effectively you could, now that we have a Conke and the Golem, you could, but yeah, I haven't tested. I think that's going to be my first step, is to test, is that good enough? Because you could play a Conke and the construct, the Golem construct, ancient construct, I should say. A Conke does have the constructed companion. If you include a Conke in your party, you can also include ancient construct, ignoring the one sellsword per party restriction. So effectively, you can, and the construct takes up 2 spots. So effectively, your team, a Conke and the construct could be part of your team, and then you add 2 more. I guess it's a party of 5, right? Typically. So you could do that. I really need to sit down and test that out. And I think maybe that's what I'll cover a little bit more on Wednesday, and talk about the benefits of the construct, seeing how it, because that, honestly, in my opinion, is the greatest unknown currently in Onslaught. If, for example, we don't get the sellswords expansion in time, is the construct good enough to be added to these other teams, to have on your force, and to take the role of 2 characters? And if so, what characters are you removing and playing? I think it would be useful to, because keep in mind, the construct is a sellsword, so it should, I believe you could play it as part of on any team by itself, unless I'm incorrect. Let's see. Sellsword. Sorry, I'm looking now to see. Construct. This is great listening, isn't it? Yeah, I'll dig a little bit more into that to see if you even can, because if it's taking up 2 slots, I think that limitation is that you can only have 1 sellsword, but not that it can't take up 2 slots. So as of right now, I think you can. I haven't looked at it in a while, so that's why I'm kind of blanking a little bit. But I really want to see if the construct and a Conke can hang tough. Because let me look here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have the construct. So that is technically 6 characters. The construct can switch. I might see how it is currently with sellswords, with the construct and a Conke, to see if they're strong enough to hold their own. Because to put it frankly, Drom I think is great. I think Kithra's okay. She's good, like pseudo range damage. Like she range 2 to 3, but obviously she gets outplayed by Grabbleshanks and other ranged characters, right? But can those 3 with Hengaku, which I love Hengaku, and then I like Molly. I mean, Molly I've warmed up to Molly. I didn't like her at first, but playing in scenarios now that have and dealing with all these conditions, her ability to remove conditions is pretty potent. Like it's very nice being able to do that. So I think really I need to. My plan is to play around with the construct a little bit more, see if it is strong enough to tackle on its own. A Conke, let's talk about a Conke a little bit. So Conke does have 2 to 5 range. It kind of has a splash for 1 damage. It is a healer. You know, one friendly at range 0 to 1, heal 4. This can affect constructs. It is a charge-based system, though, and there's no way that a Conke gets more charges, except for leveling up, getting additional flasks, essentially. So a Conke could do that effectively twice, which that's good, right? I'm looking to see if a Conke could do it twice. And then Elixir of Boldness, 1 friendly at range 0 to 1 to gain Boldness, which gives them basically a plus 1 movement and plus 2 to hit with all attacks. Okay. Yeah, it would give sellswords a solid heal option, and I don't mind that. Because Molly isn't really a healer. She does other things. And then looking at the construct, I mean, the highest range the construct has, I see a 2 to 4 from the wizard, or the mage, I should say, version. There's a cone of 4 for refraction. Arbalest no has 2 to 3. 2 to 5 on barrage from the ranger version of the construct. 2 to 5 would be better. That 5 is kind of what I'm looking for. But that's a once per game effect, whereas Orb Blast is a 2 through 4. So maybe the mage is a better option for a cooldown. And then looking at... Let me look at the main dial of the construct real quick. 2 to 4 in general, so yeah, the construct probably is going to be necessary. It's just how difficult is the construct to take down. So that's the thing I'm hoping to play around with. Once I get my hands on a copy, because we still haven't run the event at my local store. Once I get my hands on a copy, maybe I'll start doing some videos of the construct and how it could fit, because I think that's the biggest question I have in these months leading up to Adepticon. Is the ancient construct worth it to try to fit on teams, and is sellswords worth it as a faction on their own? Can they hold up against Harpers or the Zentarum or the Red Wizards? Can they hold up to those factions, and can they hold up to those factions when they also have sellswords? So there's a lot of questions with that. It's untested. So that's the thing I'm working on for Adepticon. When it comes to HeroClix, let's talk about HeroClix a little bit. So my biggest focus currently with HeroClix is the 400 point Silver Age. That's primarily because I have a Rock Regional in Chattanooga that I'm going to on February 18th, I believe. Yes, February 18th. There's a Rock Regional, which is 400 points Silver Age. That is what I'm working on, focused on currently. Getting the pieces I need. Actually, I need to work on that more today. Because I definitely need some two-gun kids. I'm definitely leaning in towards the Avengers element of it. I think they are strong enough even without Sarkarian Iron Man and Scarlet Witch. It's really just nailing down what 50-point or below character I want to bring in with Steve Rogers. I am still thinking it's going to be some of the Masters of Evil, just to give some more defense. But Chase Black Widow isn't a bad option. She's generally pretty good. There's a lot of options. We went through it kind of on Friday's episode. I think that's the direction I'm just going to lean in because it's what I know best, and I have a lot of the figures. And Prime Spider-Man is probably in there somewhere because he's just too good. So the core would still effectively be Falcon, Miss Marvels with rings, debating one or two, and then Prime Spider-Man. And then I could probably still fit more on there, whether it is Chase Black Widow from the Black Widow set, because a lot of those pieces I just talked about are modern, so I would need 200 points that aren't. So probably Chase Black Widow, probably some of the other. Let's see, what were some of the other ones that I had listed? And I guess that's a question. Your build has to be 200 points of Silver Age at least, but if I'm swapping, that kind of gets around it because now the swap pieces are Silver Age. So if I swap those to play more modern, I didn't think about it from that angle, but I guess it would be. I'll need to check with that. I assume it's okay, but if I'm playing those Captain Americas to swap, well, those are absolutely Silver Age, but I'm swapping two modern pieces. So, right? So it's one of those of like my team's going to be effectively mostly modern outside of, Chase Black Widow and probably, that's probably it for now. I mean, I need to look at some other Avengers. There are other Avengers out there that I know are good. It's just tricky on whether I want to play like a Captain Marvel from years old or a the Iron Man, the title Captain America, or Asgardian Storm, or some of these older pieces. Yeah, that's interesting. I really hadn't thought about whether the swap mechanic gets around that and whether it would give kind of an advantage to swap mechanics in general. As far as modern goes, honestly, I haven't had a ton of time to think about modern as far as what I'm building. I know Carnage Silver Surfer is the de facto most dangerous undercosted character out there. You could argue Scott Porter, sure, but if we want to talk a little bit about teams that recently did well, there were the Champion Clicks trials that happened. Azura Strife, who got first place in Pittsburgh, he was playing Carnage Silver Surfer, Prime Wonder Woman, the Ghost Rider, the one that says that you don't get to take away my powers, Captain America, the Pegasus one, Jennifer Kale, Legacy Jennifer Kale, Scott Porter, obviously white shirt Scott Porter, and Carnage. That was his team. And then let's see, what other ones are there? So there's Carnage Silver Surfer, Scott Porter's, Prime Wonder Woman. Don't sleep on her. Don't sleep on that Pegasus Captain America either. Sioux Falls Trial, Calder Ness one with Camo. We've talked about Camo before. The Hound, because this was an animal themed team. Two of the Pegasus Captain Americas, and then the two Scott Porters. That is a nasty, nasty team now that I look at it. Oof. Nasty team. And then the Wellsboro Champion Clicks. That one was Pulp. So I won't talk about Pulp because I'm not currently building Pulp. So I'll save that that one for another day. But for other 300-point modern, we do. It's really kind of that. So second place at the Pittsburgh one that Azareth won. Todd Russell played 175-point World's Finest. Martian Manhunter, the detective one, and Prime Batman. That's an interesting team. I don't know if that one is really. That's just interesting. I hadn't thought about that. It's not a theme team, is it? It is. It's detective. Yeah, or this says Justice League, but it's technically a detective theme team. Huh. Interesting. Well, if I were to play a team today, I probably would still lean on my Nationals team because I didn't lose a lot from that besides Scarlet Witch. But, these Pegasus Captain Americas are definitely interesting. Carnage Silver Surfer, I just don't own one, and I don't really want to, devote $200 something dollars, $300 I think is what I saw last, on buying one. I think that's a little much. So I might play around with some of the Iron Man Hall of Armor. I mentioned that as well because I do think that is very good. It's just, what team would it go on? Would I go non-theme, or would I go Avengers, or what are some of the other ones? Scientist, I guess. Let me look at which ones they have. Stark Industries, Iron Armor, Pass, Scientist. Yeah. Or go non-theme. I mean, non-theme is also very popular right now. So it's an interesting time in Modern. You've got to be able to take a hit. I might end up just going with camo. I actually really like Calder's team of the two Pegasus Captain Americas camo. The Hound, which gives you the Masters of Evil kind of engine to a degree. I really do like that. I do like the camo team. I think the camo team is really nice. I do like that. I also know we had a Rock Online tournament recently. And where is that? The results from that. I know Dan Powell won. Let me get his team real quick. Well, I don't see his team handy, which is unfortunate. Oh, here it is. It's Cosmic, 2 Carnage Silver Surfers, Dark Phoenix, Hope Summers, Mephisto, Prime Batman, 2 Scott Porters, and Scott Crampton. Cosmic theme. Can't be too surprised by it. It is Masters of Evil with 2 Carnage Silver Surfers. You got Hope in there, which is nice, gives you the leadership. Mephisto, of course. And then the Batman is interesting. That gives you the rings for free, effectively, outside of Scott Porter doing it. And then, of course, you got the 2 Scott Porters. It's crazy because every figure here is 50 points or less. And that's just a nuts team. It pains me that Carnage Silver Surfer is just so incredibly good. It's just so oppressive. Which is why I'm glad they banned it in Silver Age. But that's kind of what I'm working on now. That's what these next episodes. Wednesday we'll talk more in depth about Cell Swords. I'll have a little bit more data on the constructs and kind of talk about that a little bit more. Friday I'll go more into Silver Age, and then I'll go to Modern eventually. But I will mostly be talking about Silver Age on Friday because I am wanting to deep dive it a little bit more into Avengers and exactly what I'm thinking about playing. But for now, that's going to do it for this episode of G-Wiz. It was a little bit shorter, but that's kind of what I anticipated. I hope everybody is going to have a good week. I will see you guys on Wednesday, where we're going to talk some Cell Swords. See ya.